What's up, Whittier?
Welcome to What's Up, Whittier, a homegrown podcast.
A podcast to showcase Whittier's businesses, personalities, and hidden treasures.
What's up, Whittier?
Dun da da da.
Remo, what do we got?
Jesse, we have.
Actually, hold on. I'm getting a call. Oh, I don't get
All right, Jesse, are you ready now?
Ready?
You sure?
Yes. Let's
All
do
right.
this.
As I was saying, you getting another call? No.
Yes.
Let's. Today we're here, and we're at a new location. It's an outdoor location, and we're special because it's our 2-year anniversary. So today marks 2 years of when we started our podcast.
And we've come a long way, guys.
Yes.
Producer Christine here, by the way.
Just think about it, Remo. 2 years, man. If 2 years ago you would have had a kid,
Kid would have been 2 years old.
it'd be walking.
Fun fact, my niece, Lucy, was actually born on the same day as the podcast. We had a morning meeting, and we signed up for the podcast, and then in the evening, I went to Queen of the Valley Hospital to go hold my newborn niece.
Did you name her What's Up, Whittier?
That's her nickname. I say, what up, what up?
First name, what up? Last name, Whittier. Dude, she must be like the most
She
popular.
loves it. I take her to
kid.
city council with me.
Does she really? Oh, man. How exciting.
Yeah, she loves it.
Playing with games or go to city council? I mean,
All right, guys, 2 years. So what have you, what do you learn from 2 years on the podcast? Like, what's a thought or something that
one
you
big
think about?
aha. Let's start with that.
Oh,
One
yeah.
big aha.
One big aha.
Jesse, Mr. Podcast King.
Aha.
Yeah, what is aha? One aha.
You know, one aha is that, and I've mentioned this before, is that everybody we've interviewed so far, I mean, we've interviewed, majority of them have been business owners. But every single one of them has, it's in their, like, business practice or business plan that they somehow give back to the community. And it's always giving back to their community in how, in a way that they wish they would have got it when they were kind of coming up. So I thought that was kind of cool. Which you don't as somebody who's kind of patronizing their business, you don't hear these kind of stories, which is, for me, it was kind of cool, man.
Christine?
Oh, well, for me, my big aha moment was that there are so many different type of people that we've come across on the podcast, you know, whether they are super, super early, whether they are running a little late, whether it's pulling teeth to get them to talk, whether they can't stop talking. It's so interesting.
Why are you looking at Jesse for?
I'm looking at all of you. I'm looking at one and the other. But it's just a really great experience to get to know the people behind, you know, just like the name or whatever. I would definitely say that, you know, I've become really good friends with some of the people that we've interviewed on the podcast, and it's because, you know, we had that opportunity to connect, and I think it's really great. And another aha, if I can say too, is that, you know, I think the podcast has brought the community together in a specific way. I mean, so many organizations are doing that, but I think our podcast, you know, really has a special place because it opens up to learning about people's personalities in addition to, it's like an intimate conversation, you know?
Well, what's funny is that on the whole Whittier thing, so I have obviously colleagues and people I know that listen to the podcast. They're not from Whittier, and it's always like, why Whittier? You know, like why don't you talk about it? And they throw out ideas of like, and it's people who are obviously somewhere else, different cities, which are, I'd love to interview them. But it's, again, kind of going back to the whole idea of why it's called a Whittier. So I thought that was kind of interesting that you said that. The other thing that was interesting is that you said about pulling teeth. Because every person we've interviewed, that was like the initial reaction, like, what am I going to say? Like, I don't know what to say. You know, I'm not that interesting, or what are we going to talk about? But once you get started, like,
It's a conversation.
it just became a conversation. And you could tell, like, at the beginning, you're right, the interview kind of
Correct.
starts off hard, and at the end they kind of pull off. So that I thought was kind of cool.
I think Jesse got like 3 ahas.
3 ahas.
No, I'm just saying that.
Well,
Elaborate. So when we talk about not being able to get someone to stop talking, there's
Who are we
pulling
talking
teeth.
about?
That
There's somebody
extreme,
else?
and then there's the ones that, you know, their teeth have been pulled. Anyways, I'm just kidding.
Remo, your aha.
Going into when we sat down the first time, I would have never thought it was going to be as fun as it has been. And I really thought, well, first of all, the hour when we talked about, what the length of time should this episode be, and it was like, what are we going to talk for an hour? And I have quick conversations. So for me, it was a really long time, longer than I think maybe it might be for you guys, because Jessie, you just have a conversation. I'm like, let's get to the point, kind of give me the meat and potatoes as opposed to the whole course. And so that's been a really big, how much fun it's been. And then just getting to know everyone's stories. I think that's just the coolest thing. We've had this opportunity of sitting together and interviewing someone for an hour and really being able to ask any and every question we wanted. And that's really cool, because we'll never have an opportunity in just going to a restaurant or to one of these places and be like, you know what, tell us how you started. Oh, you started in your mom's kitchen? Is that how you started cooking and now you have a restaurant? It's like, you would have never got that. Mm-hmm. You would think you would just walk in, see someone's success or what they're going through, and never see what it took to get there. An image comes to mind. It's that the iceberg, where it's just a little thing on top and there's so much below that actually holds the iceberg together, and we got to see that bottom portion, and we were able to expose that to the community, which is really awesome. So,
which is, it's good you bring that up too, because that's the other thing I get from people listening, is that they're like, oh man, I didn't realize that so and so was doing that, or so and so actually was behind this, or so and so was doing something else than that, and it's good to hear that backstory. Because again, we all kind of have our own kind of whatever traveling path to get to wherever we're at, and you never share those stories, man, which is kind of cool. But with that said, is there any interviews that kind of stands out from you guys?
Well, before that, you were saying like me really enjoying it. I would say, because I get this question asked all the time from people, it's, do you guys make money? Or do you get business out of it? And
right.
I've yet to get a penny or get a client out of this. But what I have is some awesome friendships that has been worth so much more. So, the way it progressed, initially I thought, okay, maybe we'll get some business out of this. But even though we haven't, it's still been awesome. Yeah. So, sorry.
No, you're right, man. No, you're right. It's one of those things where now you build those relationships to where, like, you see somebody walking down the street, and now they're like, you're having a conversation again, right? They know
you're picking up where you left off, as opposed to like, hey, and
yeah, I would say it's like networking on steroids, because instead of just like the quick, 10 to 15, oh, what do you do? How do you do? You're really getting to,
and we get to interrogate people, because this is not a two-sided conversation. This is three people asking them, give us your life story in an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's always really interesting.
So going back to my original question, who do you, out of everybody that you've met with, who's your number one?
Number one,
or not number? I should say number one. Out of all the interviews that we've gone through, who sticks out that you're like, man, that was kind of cool, or
I would say some of the earlier ones we when people brought alcohol.
Oh yeah, the first year.
Which one did not bring alcohol?
I think like the Rusty Monk.
Oh,
that was. I mean, I've never, and that one stands out because I've never had sour beer prior to that. And it's one thing that they bring one beer that we share, but I think I walked out of there buzzed. And it was.
Well, you want to talk about an episode when you guys were leaving Buzz? What about when we recorded with Gio at Four Bricks?
Gio. I'm glad I can walk home.
Yeah, that was him around the corner.
And those stand out because just the way they ended.
Yeah, but also it was just so casual, we're just hanging out.
That's what it was. It was not that we're just drinking like crazy. It was just more, it's a social. You're socializing, you're drinking
over a drink,
and it was so good that you just kind of forgot that we were actually recording.
Yeah. Remember when everybody used to bring food too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who put the best spread?
Oh my God, CC the Love. I just have to say, because remember CC, he brought stuff from Forking Good. He brought us like the Green Goddess hummus and like the bruschetta. Oh no, April's was really good too. April's at La Pescadora.
I don't know. Well, are we talking about drinks or are we talking about food?
Oh,
from the restaurant.
Talking about food. April's was good because she had different tacos. Like we had those like shrimp poppers or whatever. The bacon wrapped shrimp. That was really good.
Jessie, who?
I would have to say it was Turnbull's Tavern.
Yeah.
Oh,
Me too.
Turnbull.
Hands down.
Those
Yeah,
guys, like,
they did kill
They
it.
brought the whole kitchen
Yeah,
out.
they
were awesome.
I walked out of there with the to-go thing, and I was full for like a day. It was.
That's true. Shout
their
out to Ernie and
Yeah,
Ignacio.
their spread was on point.
But talk about hospitality, right?
Yeah,
like,
so great.
Like we're. It's not that it's a requirement that they have to bring something to get it going, but obviously it helps. It helps the conversation, right? And in that
And we could
instance,
talk about their product, which is really important.
which is what we're trying to showcasing. But in that instance, I mean, it was hard, man, because I mean, all the food they had, and then trying to follow it up with what we were eating, it was just, I mean.
Yeah.
How long was that episode? Was it a long one?
It was a
or-
little over an hour.
It was
I
about
think.
3,500 calories. That's what it was.
So just an average night.
That's
But
fine.
I love Turnbulls. I go there often just for their elote fries and their their mango.
Actually, that was the first night that, wasn't it that they had just recently come up with the lotte fries or something like that, or
No,
Yeah.
it had been open
Or
because
there was something that they had just
Eva
started.
has bought in the elote fries from there a couple times
Yeah.
prior to us going.
But they had just put it on the menu, I think. It was one of their newer additions.
Well,
at
it
the
would have
time.
been maybe a couple weeks, but I've definitely
So
had
good.
them before. That because Eva
you
brought
had
them
a
home.
preview, huh?
Yeah, well, it's great that
see how
Eva
it is.
likes to explore different places because I get leftovers. One thing I really like about Eva is she never finishes her food.
Yeah.
So I'm always having whatever she has, and that's really important.
That's good.
That might
wait
sound
till you have
weird.
kids, man.
Well,
Yeah. Then you'll be eating.
You're gonna be
whatever
eating
they have.
everything.
well, I mean that's okay, but we'll just order more food.
Just order more food.
You're like, oh, you don't want that? What? Here you go.
Who's the most interesting, like, I don't want to say character, but in this case, I would say character that we've interviewed? And it could be interesting in a good way, a unique way, something that maybe you weren't expecting.
I'll tell you this. I mean, you're right. It's kind of hard to start putting one person.
Right. You don't want
But-
to. We have so many guests.
No,
But
everybody.
just interesting, and
Yeah.
it's not in a good or bad way. It's just who
Everybody
stood
has
out?
a story, but for me, one that starting the podcast, I would have never thought that we would get into was when we did the whole elections panel.
Yeah, the city council.
We talked about trying to bring them on and just interview them just as a
just
regular
as
conversation.
candidates,
there you
yeah,
go.
just coming. I mean, not even as candidates, just as our
Just
council
as a
members.
council
yes.
member. But I thought that was kind of. I would never had expected that we would get into that kind of
Interview
role
or- mhm.
of interviewing potential candidates. That was cool. And then the last two that we did, that again, kind of exceeding the
What was cool about it for you?
that
The
panel.
candidate,
What was cool was that they were able, they had an opportunity to sit down and talk about what they're going after in a very casual setting. At least I didn't feel like I was being sold something as a campaign. It was more of just having a conversation as a resident. What are you doing here? That was one part. The other part was just the fact that we were able to kind of have a conversation and have them talk about things that were more personal, which for me kind of brought them more to I don't want to say grounding, but it made them.
made him human.
Yeah,
there
they're
you
people.
go. There you go. Exactly. It was bringing that human element to that role.
One thing I experienced when I went through the candidate interviews is it sounded like everyone was right.
Right.
And that's the one thing about politics. I've never been big into politics. I just put my head down and just bulldog it through, like you said earlier. And that part I can't really jive with, because when you're done interviewing, you're like, man, that guy's all right or that gal's all right, and then you listen to the next person, it's like that person's all right too, and it's like, you can't pick a winner, and because everyone's story is the perfect story.
Yeah, it's so unique to them, right?
It is, but what I've noticed is that you could really, again, you're right. Everybody has that same love, that same passion for Whittier and making Whittier better or great. But just you could tell in the interviews, like who's been there the longest and who has essentially invested so much to try to keep it going in a certain direction. Just the interview with Bob Henderson, which I thought was really good. I mean, just the history that guy has, man, and the knowledge. I mean, that guy's a walking encyclopedia, to be able to have somebody like that who has so much information, but then he's on the city council to be able to make those decisions based on previous experience, it just tells you like, okay, now there's something behind that, right? And you're right. Whether it's a different motive, good or bad, the motive is there, right? It's that there's some history to it. So I thought that was pretty good based on that interview. I mean, it's like I said, everybody else on that panel was pretty good. But before you cut me off, the last two that were pretty good.
I could never cut you off, Jesse.
Linda Sanchez and Ian Calderon. I mean, talk about two people who like. I mean, they're accessible. They're your local,
right? But talk about two people that are at such a higher level, and that interview really made them people to us, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. So again, somebody and they're accessible, right? You just got to be able to reach out to them and set up an appointment.
Right, go to their offices, sure.
But for me, was that they were again being able to take them out of their element and put them into more of a kind of casual conversation. And just the stuff they were talking about.
They have kids.
Man. It was like, that's kind of cool, man.
Yeah. One episode, and I'm kind of flipping through the pictures of the different episodes. And the one episode that stands out was Cielo's at Maritza's.
Yeah. I remember that episode.
Because during that episode...
That's before you got waxed, right? Or
Yes, waxed, whatever.
No, it was when the ring came, remember?
Yeah, he was...
So I had the ring come in, and this guy comes in, is Middle Eastern with a briefcase.
The engagement ring. Is that what you mean? The engagement ring.
Engagement ring. Because we were flying out the next day to Bali, and this guy comes in, and he
comes in with the briefcase.
Comes in with a briefcase in an all women's beauty place, and we go in the back room. He shows me the ring. I said we're good, and then we resume the conversation like nothing happened.
Exactly.
So that was a real memorable one because I don't remember what we talked about. Actually, her dog was really aggressive. I remember that.
Yeah. R.I.P. to Julie. She passed away.
Oh, she did? Oh, sorry. Bad spot there. Sorry.
Rest in peace. Christine, cut this out.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
No.
So that one stood out because obviously that was a little bit more special to me because of that reason.
Cool.
I thought you were going to say is when you interviewed her, was she our second guest?
Eva was our second guest, our third episode.
There you go.
Yeah. But, so I would say that a few episodes that stand out to me, well, like I said, I've made a lot of close friends, and definitely I'm going to shout them out. Shout out to Claudia Prado of Shop the Runway and Ivy Love of Ivy Love. Those two episodes really stood out to me because, I knew Claudia and I knew Ivy before, but it's really cool because it really got to know my friends in that event. Like, before they were really before we were close friends, it was really insightful just to learn about how Claudia started her first shop when she was 17. She was working in downtown, and she had her spot in Sherman Oaks, and Claudia's really great, and she's also another great mentor. She's taught me so much, just about marketing and media, and everybody follow Shop the Runway. And Ivy too, and Ivy's always really been there for me, and she talked about her struggles in that episode, and I hang out with her a couple times a week, and just to see how hard that she works, making those shirts and putting out those designs, doing those sketches, it's really a true testament to how hard my friends work, and they inspire me to work hard, and they have really great work ethic. So that's why those two specifically stand out to me.
Well, it's that same iceberg mentality where you just see the tip, or even a duck in the water, calm in the top,
right,
and then
their feet are constantly moving.
People don't see the feet; all they see is a calm duck.
Exactly.
So I'm still scrolling through pictures, and I had a good one, but I went down too far.
It was a good one when April guest hosted on Rick's episode. Rick
That was
Gonzalez
whatever.
from Spin Lounge.
No.
Remo, do you remember that one? Oh,
No, I
actually, that's the #1 podcast downloaded.
it is.
Ever.
Yeah, shout out to
Yeah, I've downloaded on many devices, so you guys should get that.
yeah.
So, I don't know,
Shout out
Christine,
to
maybe
Rick
we
and
should go
April.
for #2 and tell us when you're on vacation, Remo.
Yeah. April, would you like to be our new co-host for asking you on the podcast? No, but
The ice cream thing with Sunkiss, that was pretty fun. We had an event for a week.
Right.
Or we're giving away ice cream, or you were taking
at the
pictures
farmer's
with.
market.
Well, you were taking pictures with ice cream, random ice creams everywhere.
Oh, yeah, because I was promoting the farmer's market giveaway that we had on September 22nd of last year. We were giving out free popsicles. Shout out to Outshine. And I think I know why it's really memorable for you, Remo. It's because you took a box home.
I took a couple cases home.
A container home.
You took a container
and
home?
you know what's funny?
He took a whole pallet.
I got really used to that ice cream, and I really like the mango one.
They're really good.
The mango's so good.
And I went to go buy them. I'm like, $5.
Yeah, they're $5.
For a six-pack, I got like, I think 100 when we had that thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying for this.
They were just giving them away at the end, you know? So that was a lot of fun. And I remember I was with those workers, and we went to like a bunch of different boutiques. And actually that really helped, I think, you know, with the networking and kind of getting name recognition is we went to a lot of businesses, went to barbershops, we went to the beauty bars, we went to the law offices, and we were just giving, you know, these, 4 or 5 boxes of ice cream. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's that was pretty good. Well, the other one that I thought was pretty good is when we were.
I have the next
Which one?
The first live we did at with Alex.
Alexander Robert. Yeah.
That was a nice like overall setup. There was an audience. There was food. There was drink. It was an event.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool. That was an interesting.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a little over a year ago. And now that is the home of the collab, the new collab.
Year and a half ago.
No, it was in October, no?
Oh, I don't know. You would probably know better than I would.
I thought it was October, November, because then we did Masa Taco, their live episode.
Which they put a
and
big
that was
spread.
a nice too.
Yeah.
They made a What's Up Whittier vegan Euro taco.
Are we collecting
Mediterranean.
royalties on this somehow? Or?
No, they don't sell it anymore.
Oh, man.
It wasn't a good sell. Sorry.
It wasn't a good way.
It wasn't a good sell.
Oh.
No, nobody wanted
No
a
one wa-
Mediterranean
What's Up Whittier.
taco.
They didn't put hummus on it. That's
They
why.
put hummus. They put tzatziki.
No,
That's too confusing.
You gotta. Hummus is the way to go.
I agree. I love hummus.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
So going in 2019, before we jump the gun here, what are things you would like to see happen in the podcast?
like who I would like to interview, or
Yeah.
Anything.
There's a lot, man. I mean, there's again, I for mine, there's a lot of. When we first started, we talked about doing interviewing characters, right? Like people who were like known, personalities, right? Somebody who's like well known here in Whittier. And there's been a few that recently I've kind of come across that I again, it'd be kind of cool to hit up and see if they're available. And the two that come to mind are the ones that were recently our grand marshals for the parade.
Yosh Nakamura.
Yeah, so he'd be kind of cool. And then Kimmy from Full House, which
And Andrea
Barber. And you talk about their stories again. Obviously, I only know their stories based on what I read, right?
Or watch on
what's
TV.
available. Yeah, but just knowing that we got two people who like they've lived here in Whittier, that they've made their home here in Whittier, they've gone out beyond Whittier and done something productive and great, and then they're still here. Like, there's something about that I think is kind of cool. Like, because you always hear about like people who become famous or
and then they leave their hometown and they never come back. Definitely.
So.
But I think that's part of the Whittier pride, is that you stay, people stay here.
And actually, sorry, to tag on to that, some of or I say majority of the people we've interviewed, that's kind of been their backstory. Is that they've started here, they've left, and then they've come back.
Right.
And they've kind of put their roots here. So I thought it was kind of cool, man.
Nice. If I were to have... Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. Melissa Villaseñor from SNL, I would love to have her on the podcast. Because she's from
writer,
Whittier.
Right?
She's the Latina actress on the show.
Which
Saturday Night Live.
Oh, Saturday Night.
Saturday
I'm
Night
a little
Live.
too old for that already, no?
No,
But yeah.
and then
I was thinking, I hope you elaborate on what SNL is.
SNL, Saturday Night Live, yeah. I really want to, every time she has a show out here, because she lives in New York, right? Every time she has a show, I'm never in town. So I really want to, find her, go to a show, be like, hi, I have a podcast, what's up, Whittier? Because she also used to have a podcast, and she talks about Whittier in it. So that's my main goal for 2019, to get Melissa Villaseñor. And then also, like you said, Jessie, more personalities. She's totally a personality,
Yeah.
And so who are other people in our community that are either philanthropists, people that give back to the community. And like just people that have lived here a long time that really have that rich kind of history, like you were saying. And also, I think that it'd be fun to, what do you say? We say businesses, personalities, and hidden treasures. I would really think, we've never had a church on here or like a religious institution. I think that would be interesting if we had like a religious nonprofit, because a lot of them do give back to the community, or like maybe the Interfaith Food Center, people from the Interfaith Food Center, because again, that's a big concern in Whittier, is how do we provide for our community, and we do a really great job at that. We have so many nonprofits. I think we should do more nonprofits. So that's what I think. That's me. Remo? And there's a long-winded answer, Remo.
Yeah. I'd like to have Kobe Bryant on this show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kobe.
We used to say that in middle school when we used to throw like trash balls into the trash can. Kobe. Like,
middle school was like 5 years ago, so 8 years ago. So that's
15.
When Kobe was in his prime. I can see that. Who I'd like to have? No, I think they're doing a great job with who we're getting. I don't know most of the people, or now as we get towards the later episodes, the beginning people we knew, we had some sort of maybe a high-buy relationship, or at least of the person. Some of these people that we're getting, I never even have heard of them, but getting to know the story has been really cool. So I say we just keep doing whatever it is that we're doing. Maybe, like Jessie mentioned, some of the really, the older history. So we were talking about Shannon.
Ruth B. Shannon. That's who I met. Actually, I should have said her name, Ruth B. Shannon, but she's who I thought of when I thought of philanthropists in the community.
Because I would like to hear what it was like 50 years ago. My concern is maybe that story might take a while to kind of progress.
Hey, we're doing it in parts.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think maybe here's an idea. We do, what was Whittier like in the 50s? And that could be an episode.
Theme?
Yeah, a theme like we did the candidates. And we'll get 3 people that would share stories of what it was like in the 50s, 60s, and so forth.
Nice.
That would be.
Oh, my God, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, so it'll be like a flashback from those that were, living, and we could then, at that point, go after a certain type of, obviously demographic, because of the age demographic.
Oh my God, we could have my Uncle Roger on, because he grew up in Whittier in the 60s.
Christine always trying to bring her family to all the parties.
Uncle Roger is so good.
Uncle Roger.
So maybe something like that. That'll be pretty neat.
No, that's awesome. Nice. It's a good idea. It's great.
Oh, man.
¿Qué más? Should I pull out the hummus?
Well,
you brought snacks?
I know we're always asking about like our people's or our guests what their favorite place or go-to is. Have you guys found any? Do you find yourself being at a different place from when we first started?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, me for sure, because
we know where you were at before.
Where was I at before?
You were at Maso Taco, like
I was at Maso Taco all the
breakfast, lunch,
time.
and dinner.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Has it changed?
Has Maso Taco changed?
No. Has your go-to
your
changed?
appetite?
Oh yeah. I'm really, and I think you guys would agree on this one with me. I like JDO Mediterranean. That is a new place that just opened up this year. JC's Kitchen. Oh my gosh, I like Jace. Juan Carlos is so good. I've loved his cooking and stuff. I don't really go out as much as I used to because I'm so busy. But La Pesca, also really good. La Pescadora.
I was gonna say I
do go there.
I follow your Instagram, and your Instagram's always La Pescadora.
Hey man, $2 tacos on Thursday.
I think they have your booth set up right.
Christine, your table awaits.
April has a shirt that says "I know Christine." That's how.
Shout out to April.
Jessie?
I got a couple, man, but the most recent one, recent this week recent is the one that you were talking about, the little Mediterranean place down the street.
JDO Mediterranean.
Man, those guys have a killer, food is good, man. It's really good.
And it's you were saying the chicken you get, it's chicken breast, and that chicken breast is really juicy.
Man. It's
Would you get the kebab?
I get the kebab, yeah.
And you can't beat that. It's $9 or so.
I get the
two skewers.
I get the kebab, the yogurt cucumber, and then the spicy hummus.
I'm so hungry right now.
I know.
Are you going there after?
So that's been more recent. But the other go-to, which we just hit it up not too long ago was the happy hour that Ravello's has.
Right, because they just kind of reopened and redid their restaurant.
I'm a big pizza guy, man, so I had to go hit up the pizza, their happy hour special. That was pretty good. What else have I recently gone to? That's pretty. Again, I try not to eat as much out as I.
Yeah, I've really been like cutting back, eating at home a lot.
Yeah, but I'd say those are my two, man.
My go-to spots, and I'm a good creature of habit, so I don't. If I go to the same place, I'll order the exact same food. So Greenleaf Thai.
Oh yeah, I went there for the first time last week. They had really good soup.
That place is amazing too.
Yeah,
Man.
their Tom Yum Gun soup is really good. It's probably what you had. My dish I get if I go there 10 times, I get it 9 out of 10 times. Is a Crying Tiger. It's a ribeye. Oh, it's fire. It's really good.
Juan, do you share or is it all yours?
No, well, most of the time Eva gets one as well. She doesn't finish the steak, so and they give you these vegetable skewers, and so she'll only eat part of one, and they get 2 of them. So I love eating with her because
that's how you married her.
Yeah, I eat 1 1/4, 1 1/3 of a plate when I go have dinner with her. Which other spot? J Doe's is. I mean, Eva's there twice a week, and she'll call me and say, "Do you want something?" And it's being Middle Eastern. It's really good Middle Eastern food. Like there's one other place that's in Downey that's really good, and that was usually the one where I want really good Mediterranean. I would go there, but this one has definitely they brought the heat. Nice. I think that's it. I mean, we were pretty good about cooking at home and for the most part, but actually Off the Hook and Chicken Coop we eat quite often. We probably eat there like twice a month, maybe 3 times a month at each of those places. Yeah. So at Chicken Coop, they have the wraps are really good.
Oh, yeah.
And then at Off the Hook, we always get the mahi. Like it's like 10 out of 10 times, that's the exact same place I get every time.
10 out of 10, man. I think that seals it, man.
Yeah, so it's not bring out the menu, it's just bring out my mahi,
They just come to you and say, Remo, the usual?
Yeah.
The usual.
They ask you if you want it Cajun or peppered. And I could never remember. So every time it comes out a little bit different, it's good still. But I'm like, I gotta write it down or text it to myself when I go there because it's always different. But it's still good.
It's so good. Yeah, definitely.
Actually, my go-to recently has been Buffalo Wild Wings.
Didn't we pass him already or no?
I know. I kind of wanted to mention another one too.
I'm just recouping. I'm thinking like, all right. Actually, we've been watching. So Sundays, it's our thing. We go watch football games. That's why.
That's so unique.
Football's been,
yeah. Sundays you watch football.
That's
wow.
Cool.
Well, it's more like my kid. But
yeah.
Your kid takes you to watch.
My
football.
kid takes me. I drive my kids.
Yeah, and he's 6.
He's 7.
7.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention, where I went for like the first time I actually ate food there, because usually the Nixon Steakhouse is open, late nights, and they have like music or whatever. You can hang out, and it's very casual. But I just went there for dinner with like 4 of my girlfriends, and they brought out the huge pig. Have you guys seen that pig?
We ate it.
You ate the whole thing? We didn't.
No, it was just a sliver.
Oh no! That's that's like the jamon, but they cook like carnitas. Pig. It's the carnitas, and they'll bring it to you, and then they'll bring you tortillas, and then you cut it up and you put it in the thing. That was so good, and there were 4 of us, and we could not finish it.
Well, yeah, talk about a whole pig.
Yeah,
it's like even a baby pig, you probably won't.
A baby pig, yeah. No, so that was I don't even remember what it was called, but it was at the Nixon Steakhouse, so that place is really good.
What did I get? It's like a bone, and they sear off a couple pieces of ham. Is that there?
Yeah, it's like serrano jamon. It's like charcuterie.
It was no. This was like slivers of like really thin ham. It's like aged ham that they bring in a whole bone.
That's what charcuterie is, aged.
I thought
charcuterie.
I thought that was the Brazilian barbecue where you flip the thing red and green. It's not that.
No,
that's a churrascaria.
Oh, that's okay.
There you go.
So that ham thing, I mean, when they brought it out, we were sitting there, Eva and I, and the guy brought it out. It looks really fancy and nice, and Eva's like, yeah, let's get it. I'm like, babe, this doesn't look cheap. Let's ask. And he's like, oh, it's $12. I was like, oh, okay, cool, $12. And they cut like 3 little pieces. I'm like, I think, can you keep this? And can we get the bone? But it was really good. It's definitely more of an experience as opposed to
definitely an experience.
Filling you up. So I was kind of surprised that we only got 3 slivers.
Hold on, we totally missed it, man. Our Thursday oysters.
Oh,
yeah.
CGK.
Yeah, those are really good. They're really good oysters for $1.
The best part on that was the last time Remo and I were there.
Yeah.
We ordered 2, right? And
2 dozen or just 2?
2 dozen, yeah.
Yeah.
And they brought us 1, and they're working on the second one. But somehow there was a miscommunication, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you already got your second one, right?" We're like, "No, we haven't got our second." Like, "No, we brought it to you. You already had yours." I'm like, "No, we still want more." And
after that, the happy hour ended.
the happy hour ended, yeah.
But we were able to get that second. But it was one of those things where, we were almost convinced that we got the second one. I'm like, "You sure?
You ate it, right? No, you ate it. No, you ate it." Oh, but that place is good, man.
That's Crooked Gaff Kitchen
Gaff
on
Kitchen,
Penn Street. Yeah.
And that place didn't exist when
we interviewed
started.
the Obregon brothers, they brought us beer too.
That's right,
Yeah.
man. That's right. Maybe that's what we got to do part 2 on.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
We should go on a Thursday though.
Yes.
They're busy on a Thursday.
Yeah,
So.
they are.
Is there anything here that you guys are excited about coming up?
Like for the new year?
No, in the city, like city-wise.
Oh,
like,
just in the city.
Just everything that's coming into town. I know Remo's excited about all the new homes that are going to be built that he's going to be able to sell. But is there anything that you guys man, I'm cool that it's cool that this is coming in or excited or here? Is there something you guys are looking or wish they would bring into Whittier?
I'm definitely looking forward to the Poet Gardens, opening up. I think that'd be really great. It's been a long time, in the making, and I know that so many people have been working really hard. You, Jessie, and I'm excited.
Me?
And yeah, Remo, sure. I mean, you've been...
I walk by and give them a thumbs up.
Exactly. You don't... Yeah. And we're putting in an internet radio station, which I'm excited about. So we'll see how, the future of this progresses. And that's what I'm excited about, to bring to the community, to bring to Whittier.
Yeah.
So one thing that
Here, actually, if there's a big vacant space, what would you want in Uptown? What would you say? What do you think is ideal for that space?
I was influenced. And I was influenced by all the people that we interviewed, and the idea of a hall or an entertaining space, like a
music venue,
an amphitheater type of setup, what's that place? The Blues House of Blues,
right?
Something like that where you can have comedy, small local bands. It could be rented out for speaking type stuff. I would have never thought that, but I can't believe how many times people have said that in the podcast.
That's so true.
I mean, it's mind blowing. I would have never thought, and now I'm like, is that a business that should be open or pursued here in the area? So, and then to answer your actual question, what I'm excited about, I'm really excited that J Doe's is here. It's like mom's cooking.
You're like, can I bring it home? Can I bring it closer to the house?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken some to my parents' house because my mom didn't want to cook, and I was
Nice.
coming over. I'm like, you want food? And she said, yeah, and she likes it too. So I got mama's approval.
There you go. So you wouldn't see any. I mean, is there anything else that you'd be excited about?
Well, I don't.
Because there's a lot of things going on. I mean, you talk about.
I mean, you would know more.
Well, we know more. I mean, we're pretty
The curry
involved.
place.
I mean, the curry.
the Indian place.
Yeah, you got the Indian place, but I'm just talking about overall development. We got the the whole Nallis development happening.
Right. Well, they're bringing a Cane's and In-N-Out. That'll bring a lot of great. And then Philadelphia will take you straight to the Groves development. Yeah. So that's exciting, right? Because that'll bring so many people. Providing new homes, right, and mixed use retail space, and might be event space there. It's exciting to see what will come. Exactly. And also moving forward, I'm talking about having a people mover in regards to transportation in the city, and just so many things with the Uptown Improvement Plan. It's really cool. You guys should follow What's Up Whittier on Instagram so you can stay up to date on
shameless
city
plug.
council meetings.
No, you're right, because again, we talked about the development, which is a huge development. There was always that concern about how is it that you're going to connect the big development with Uptown, because Uptown's their crown jewel, right? Just recently, the council has been talking about this conditional use permits for alcohol, and live entertainment, and where it's allowed, where you know, to how many hours is it going to be able to extend it to. That's in discussion. It's going in the right direction to now where every business, I should say every restaurant would be able or eligible to take advantage of that.
Thursday through Saturday. Which means
that now you're going to have a good nightlife.
So what is that for those that didn't follow the What's Up Whittier story for City Council?
Yeah, so for instance, so the Poet Gardens, right, was approved for Friday and Saturday until 2 a.m. Well, with this new policy going forward is that this restaurant and also other restaurants on Greenleaf and Philadelphia will automatically be batched in. So Ricardo will automatically get the Thursday, right? Well, because for free though. But for free, he doesn't have to reapply for a permit. He's automatically batched into that.
Well, in general, it just means that any new restaurant is going to be eligible to take advantage of late night hours, meaning you'll be able to be open till 2:00 every morning or every day. 2 a.m.
Every day?
Not every day. It's Thursday through Saturday.
Well, it's Thursday through Saturday, and then for alcohol. And then every other day, you could be open till 2:00, food only.
For food, yeah.
Every other day?
Every day.
No, every day.
Okay.
Every day of the week, yeah.
So that's really cool.
So, different restaurants can keep their kitchens open later, which will be great because there are so many people, the security that work here in Uptown, the bartenders, the wait staff, they get hungry too. Do you think they want to go to Denny's every single night?
And that's just one portion. You add the live entertainment to it, which again only.
So has live entertainment been approved?
No, so they're in discussions. So all this that we're talking about is they're trying to put a policy together to where, because right now live entertainment's only allowed for about a block in each
only
direction.
On Greenleaf, really.
And then from that point, if you were to include everybody, beyond the perimeters for Uptown, I mean that just means that you'll be able to really take advantage of that connection to Nellis, but also the connection down to Doubletree, and then the connection down to Whittier College. So that for me, I think is gonna be. I'm excited, man, because we keep. When we first started, we always talked about this whole improvement that was gonna happen, beautification project, right?
Right.
About changing the streets and sidewalks, outdoor seating, and stuff like that. And the question was always well, when are we gonna see that happen? And it was always for me, it was always maybe within the next 5 years, maybe 10 years at its most, which is kind of a long stretch.
Yeah, definitely.
But now with all this stuff or discussions that they're having, it might be even sooner that you'll be able to start seeing these changes, making changes. Yeah,
right.
You'll be able to notice it more. And then you have the component of residential in the Uptown area.
That's what I was going to ask. When do you think we'll have housing in Uptown?
As soon as we have these policies in place that will attract more businesses to come in, and then the businesses would start dictating how much more residential we need in the area. You
don't think we're almost there?
I think we're there. I just think everybody needs to catch up onto that. And so, for example, and it's going to change. The demographics is going to change. It'll go from what we are now to more of a younger. When I say younger, it's more somebody who has that disposable cash to be able to enjoy the amenities and everything that's going to be happening uptown, right, for people to live in Uptown.
They live on top and go eat breakfast downstairs.
Exactly. Yeah, you're going to only attract those that are going to want to start walking around.
Yeah.
Those that don't want that are
for us. Yeah. That we're off Uptown. It'll be more for us. It'll be the destination. So that's where things will kind of change. We won't be the dailies, but it'll be enough to where we're bringing enough patronage to the businesses. So. I think it'll get there, man.
It's exciting.
It's just slowly going to get there.
And I think what's really cool also about the podcast, and we've reiterated this, many times before, is that the podcast is like a snapshot in history. So, how you say, when we first started this, we were discussing the beautification, they want to get rid of the street parking and they want to make the sidewalks bigger.
This is an archive of the city.
Exactly.
And places, yeah.
And, this kind of little recap that we just had on future policies, we'll see. In 6 months, we'll see where the discussion goes to. And
so
I think that'll be interesting.
let's declare something then for 2019.
There you go.
Oh, my gosh.
What are we declaring? By the end of 2019, what is happening to
Whittier?
Whittier, to anything. Since this is a time capsule here.
Oh, my gosh. Well, in December 2019, I think about city elections that are going to be happening in 2020, like that's so crazy because we're going to be doing that with the county, and it's going to be a really big turnout. It's also going to be a midterm. Yeah, you know me, I'm just like kind of politically minded. I'm really involved in the city, and so just kind of thinking really ahead.
Activist.
I'm a community activist. You heard that? That really, I mean, that makes me. That's all I'm thinking about. Just especially now with what's going on in politics. I don't really talk about it on the podcast, but just kind of exciting to see where everything goes, and what kind of new people you're going to meet. People pop up all the time, and it's just exciting to welcome people into the community, and I look forward to seeing that.
Senor Carrillo?
If I had to say something that's going to actually come to fruition in 2019, I'd say it's going to be this whole CUP, the conditional use permits, and you're going to see more restaurants that are going to be open later. You'll see more people on the streets, and you'll definitely see businesses change, meaning with these new additions of restaurants, there'll be a change of
type of merchants.
Yeah.
So the little shops and knick-knack places that have been a staple in the community, because that's they're antiques. I think, like you said, we'll no longer have that same clientele. It'll be a different clientele.
The way I would say it is that they're going to change their business model, so that they might still be there, but they're going to change whatever product they sell or how they sell it to respond to that market. So,
I would say by the end of 2019, Evan and I would be expecting or hopefully have a child.
I was going to say, you can have little Remos, man.
Oh, man, I thought it would be a lot easier. No, I'm just kidding. I think we will be bearing our first child, or hopefully twins. So hopefully we're
twins, man. Look at you going
here
bigger
in 2019 when we're here in the Poet Garden. Would be the Poet Garden?
Yeah. The patio.
The patio. That we have a similar conversation, and we bring little junior or juniorette. I don't know whatever it is for junior and junior. Junior girl, for her.
You can have female juniors.
Yeah. So that would be something that I'm putting out there in the energy in the world right now, in the podcast world.
You already see your little baby.
Yeah, crying
Dada, on the podcast.
Yeah. Sell it. Buy it.
RemoTheRealtor.com.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, once I have little ones, I'm going to expose them, exploit them as much as possible.
Like Marley, like your dog?
Legally. They're going to help the family turn turn a profit here. No, I'm just kidding. Not really.
You're gonna start using them on the staging.
Staging.
Not just their cuteness. I mean, I just see
buy my daddy's house.
Yeah. For sure, we're doing all that stuff.
Cute.
I will tell you right now, we're gonna get them their own mic and their camera.
They're gonna have their own agent. It's gonna be cool.
That's what I'm putting out there for 2019.
Awesome. Well,
stay tuned.
Yeah, let's stay tuned. And thank you so much for tuning in to our 2nd year anniversary podcast episode. And you can follow all of us on the internet. You can follow Remo at Remo the Realtor. You can follow Jessie at Jessie the Architect. Just kidding. He doesn't have that handle. It's J2 Architects.
Well, let me ask you, Jessie, what is it that you do? What do you do for a living?
I'm an architect.
Okay. Well, because sometimes people don't know what we do. This is...
really? I call you guys like Remo the Realtor and Jessie the Architect. And
all right. Well... All right, I'm just making sure. So you're an architect, local architect here in the city of Whittier?
Yeah, I'm a local architect here in the city of Whittier. We've been recording in my office.
In case people talk about the architectural drawings and you don't know what we're talking about.
We let you occupy the What's Up Whittier space, buddy. All right, let's get that.
I sublease from
he subleases from What's Up Whittier, but you just pay the bill.
Yeah.
On the rent.
I mean, so that's my business. Obviously, I do both residential, commercial. I try to do most work here in Whittier, stay local, employee local too. But yeah, I mean, whether it's a renovation, addition, or brand new build, that's pretty much what I do. Which it goes in hand with what you do, Remo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and Jessie, you did our own house.
There's
no better case study than doing our own house, and it came out beautiful, even though we had you as an architect.
That's why it came out beautiful.
Yeah. No, you did a great job. and we love our house. We love, in the neighborhood that we're in. My cup of tea is real estate. So we help those that are interested in selling their property, buying their property, or investing in most of our businesses. I would say 80% of our business is the city of Whittier or one of the neighboring cities. So we try to stay really hyper-local, which allows us to build some good relationships with the local agents, have a really good expertise in the area, and having interviewed so many of these businesses, really know the area. So it's one thing to sell local, sell a person or introduce a person that's coming into the city. Here's a local eatery, but it's a different thing is go to John's Eatery. This is how they got started. So it really gives a nice element to our conversations with our clients. So we're in the real estate space. So thinking about buying or selling, give us a call. Holler.
Call Junior.
Call hopefully Junior in a couple years.
And then you can follow me, producer Christine, at The Singing Moon. I do a lot of stuff, I guess. You can go to my website, christinesingerluna.com. But if you need a mobile notary, you can definitely send me a DM, or you can email me at hello@christinesingerluna.com. And yeah, let's get your papers notarized.
You did a notary for me.
You? Oh, that was awesome.
A month ago. Thank you. You were awesome. We called you. It was last minute.
Super last minute. You're like, hey, what are you doing right now?
What are you doing in 7 minutes?
Exactly.
Are you attached to a printer?
Exactly.
And it all worked out. So thank you for that.
You're like, I'm outside.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a mobile service. So exactly what I had to do was I drove from my house to Friendly Hills, which isn't too bad, but then Friendly Hills all the way to Altadena, and then Altadena back to Remo's place in Whittier to drop off the documents. So that was
did it all quickly with a smile.
Yes,
so,
I'm efficient. I'm efficient, guys. All right.
While listening to podcasts.
Yes, actually, I think I was listening to a podcast or maybe singing some Ariana Grande. She's hot right now, so.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right, Whittier.
Thank you, Whittier. Bye.
Bye. 3 words that describe Jessie: long-winded,
Creative,
keeps a conversation going,
supportive,
committed,
and inquisitive.
3 words that describe Christine: on time,
Eclectic.
community activist,
That was mine.
gangster,
Hustler.
3 words to describe Remo: efficient,
A bulldog.
productive,
A different mindset.
mentor.
A critical thinker. One more.
Okay.
He needs a bigger watch.
Is that awkward or is that weird?
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook at What's Up Whittier, and you can listen to us at whatsupwhittier.com, and don't forget to subscribe.